Hey everyone, welcome back to our YouTube channel. And today we'll be learning how to deploy a three-tier application into EC2 instance. So three-tier as in we'll be having a backend, front-end, and database. So this is the repo that we have for our front-end application. This is another repo which we have for our backend application. I will also give you these links in the description box so you can just clone it from there and use it for your practice. And for database, we'll be using MySQL using Docker. We can also use RDS from AWS, but for just the demo purpose, we'll be using Docker-based database. So we'll create one instance first. I'm gonna give it a name as demo 3T of app. Then we'll select the Ubuntu instance, and we're gonna use the free tier 22 micro instance, which has the lowest configuration. So yeah, that's it. I'm not gonna change anything and just click on launch instance. Yeah, it's ready. So we're gonna use console itself. I'm not gonna use terminal in this video because many of you might be using Windows, so using console might be the good choice here. Let it be ready first. Where we can see the status that it is still initializing. So first thing first, we'll install Docker on our EC2 instance. So go here and search install Docker on Ubuntu. Here we have the official documentation, and we'll just copy the commands and paste it in our server. Yeah, that's it. After that, there is one more command that actually installs Docker and Docker Compose in our server. Click on yes. And yes, we have installed Docker successfully on our server. When I do Docker PS, we'll be getting this permission denied error. I need to do Docker sudo docker ps, then we'll get this. But as we'll be using Docker quite often, so I don't want to use sudo all the time. So what I'll do is I'll just add this user, our current user, which is Ubuntu, to the Docker group. I can just do Ubuntu. That's it. I need to log into the terminal or session once again. So I'll just do that. Now here, when I do docker ps, yeah, I don't need to use sudo now. So we will start with the folder structure first. So I'm gonna actually tell you how it works in the industry. We will be having a different applications on the same server, so we need to keep it clean and neat. So first of all, I'm gonna create one folder named 3-tier app. We'll go inside the folder. Here I'm gonna create two folders. First one will be for frontend and another one will be for backend. So I'll just create it here. So we have a backend and a frontend. So we'll go inside the backend folder. Here I'm gonna create one more folder. I'll tell you why. Go inside this code folder. So inside code folder, we're gonna clone our GitHub repository where we have our backend code. So copy this link, come back to our server. Here you do git clone and paste the link. So after pasting the link, we need to type this period. If you don't type that, I'll just show you what happens. So see, here we have got this whole folder with the repo name that we don't want. We'll just remove this. See, now we don't have anything. We'll do git clone, and last we'll add the period. It means that we don't need a different folder. We'll just clone our all the source code here in this current folder. So here we have all the code that we already have in our repository. Okay, so come out of the code folder. So why did I create a code folder? So inside a code folder, we'll be having a source code which developers write. As a DevOps engineer, we are not supposed to touch the code. So we'll be creating a Docker file outside of the code folder. Here we'll create Docker file. I already have it. I'm just gonna explain it, otherwise it will take a lot of time. Here. So this is a from. So we'll be using this node base image. So here we'll be having all the node related packages and dependencies that we need to run our application. Then we'll be creating a app folder inside our Docker container. Then we're gonna copy the package.json files that we have inside our code folder to the app, which is our container. Then we're gonna install all the dependencies, and after that we're gonna copy the remaining code, and our application will be running on 3000 port, and we're just gonna start it. That's it. Then get out of this, then go inside the front end folder. Here also we're gonna repeat the same process. Here, so do git clone, copy the link of front end repository, and just clone it. Get out of the code folder. Then here we can see we just have code folder. Here we have to create a Docker file for front end now. So here I already have it. I'm just gonna explain what it does. So here we'll be using a multi-stage Docker file. So in front end, we'll be getting a build folder first. So other than that, we don't need all the junk files and folders which are present in our source repository. So what we'll be doing is we'll be using this node 20 alpine as a base image, and we're gonna keep that build folder inside this builder stage. This is our first stage, which we're gonna refer as a builder. So we'll be creating a folder, then we're gonna copy the package.json files, we're gonna install the dependencies, copy other code, then we'll be also having a .env file, and we're just gonna build it. So after building this application, we'll be getting one dist folder. So then we're gonna use nginx to serve our front-end application. From builder stage, we're gonna copy that dist folder inside our nginx HTML folder. After that, we're going to copy this nginx conf file where we have some routes for our backend application that I'm going to show you in a while. And we'll be exposing 80 port where nginx runs. And we're just going to start our nginx as a foreground process. So we'll just get out of this. And here now we have a Docker file for frontend also and backend also. Then here we're going to create a Docker compose file. So we have a Docker compose file here. I'm just gonna paste it here. So we'll be having four services actually. We are also using Redis here. So the first service will be for front end, and the build context, as in we're gonna tell it where our Docker file is. So inside for front end folder, there with name Docker file, we have our Docker file, and container name will be front end, and we're going to expose 80 port where our nginx runs, and it depends on backend. Until and unless backend application starts, front end won't start. So then we have a backend service, and our Docker file is in backend folder. The container name will be backend. Our backend will be running on 3000 port. Then we'll be having a env file which will be inside a backend folder and with the name .env, and it depends on Redis and MySQL also. And after that we have a MySQL service which will pull the MySQL 8.0 image from Docker Hub, and we're gonna use that Docker image or Docker container as our database. So we have a password, database username, and we'll be using 3306 port for our database, and we're gonna mount the data in the MySQL data folder. Then we also have this init.sql file to create a schema in our database that I'm gonna show you in a while. Then we have this Redis service which runs on 6379 port. That's pretty much of it. Then here we're gonna create that init.sql command, which will help us to create a schema inside our MySQL database. Otherwise, we'll get an error that we don't have tables or we don't have this column, something like that. So here we have this. Just copy this and paste it over here. Save it. So here we'll have to do two more things. We'll have to create .env file for both frontend and backend. So that we'll do now. Here, so I'm gonna paste this. So these credentials we are already using in docker compose file, or username, password, and this redis. So I already have this in this documentation. I'm gonna give the link in the description, you can use it from there. Then we'll have to create a .env file for front end also. So just copy it from here. So in front end, the env variable will be for backend. So usually in industry we will be having a backend URL, but as a demo purpose we don't have URL now. I'm just gonna paste the public IP of the server here, which is this. Just copy it and paste it over here. That's it. Then we'll build our applications. So we will wait for a while. So yeah, our Docker images are ready. We'll just make it up. So that means we're gonna just start our containers. Docker compose up -d. -d as in detached mode. We don't want to see the logs in our terminal. So we'll just do this. It will pull the Redis and MySQL images from the Docker Hub. So for frontend and backend, we already have a code in our server. From that itself, we have created our Docker images. So yeah, so all the our services are up and running. We can just check it like this. Yeah, all the services are up from last 40 seconds, 41 seconds. We just copy this our public IP, create a new tab and paste it here. So when you do that, you'll see that it is loading. So one thing we need to do is we'll have to open the 80 port where our application is running, front-end application. So go over here, click on the security groups. So you can see that only SSH port, which is 22, is open here. So we'll also need the HTTP port, which uses 80 port, and we're gonna open it for whole internet, and we're just gonna save it. As soon as you do that, when you go here and refresh it, we'll be able to see our application running. So I'm gonna put my name, my age, and my class. So when I click on register student, you'll be able to see that a student is registered successfully. That means our backend is working fine, our database is working fine. So yeah, this is how we deploy a three-tier application, guys. So we have successfully deployed our front end, back end, and database too. Yeah, that's it. See you in the next video. Bye bye.